finger and saying this and that. I work in a charitable organization, as Leah has explained to you, with people that live under the poverty line. And sometimes the things that you hear from people, at that moment, it can make you doubt the human beings about, and once I remember a person that came to me and said, well, but these people that you have to assist, most of them are mothers with 2, 3, 4, 5 children, where there is no husband anymore in the picture. Why they don't control themselves? Why they do not, refrain from sex, take a pill or something like that and keep on putting children in the world? My God, what a lack of knowledge when you say that. If you go and you spend one day in those communities, you will see that it's not easy sometimes for the woman just to say to the man, no, I don't want it. They don't have any food to eat, and it's not in every country that you can get the pill for free. It's either you take a pill or you eat. What do you think you're going to choose? The husbands most of the times are alcoholics. They beat the woman, and they have no position, no power to say no. So we don't think about the environment. We don't think about what led to that kind of situation. We just criticize it. And we just say, oh, it's the poorest community that have more children. Why? Because they do not have access to doctors. They do not have access to prevent pregnancy. They cannot go to the hospitals and ask for assistance. In this community that I work, I was so surprised when one of the works that we do with this community is to actually work in citizenship. Normally we just think about citizenship in terms of, you moving to another country, getting your citizenship and this and that. No, most of these children do not have birth certificate. They are born in the slums. They do not have any doctors. To go to have all this paperwork done, they have to go to the hospitals. They don't have money to ride in a bus. It is such a deprived community. And then we easily come and say this and that without knowing the struggles, the difficulty, and the situation. This is lack of charity. This is lack of love towards humankind. And then you try to make an excuse for you why you are not going to help. Oh, I'm not going to help someone that is all the time just, sorry about this, movies, spreading their legs for sex. They are not doing that. They are beating to do that. They are abused, they are raped. It's such a horrible situation. Sorry about this comment, but we have to think about that before we point our fingers in terms of what other people are doing. And this is the love that we are talking about. This is the understanding that we are talking about. If that was the case, can you imagine Jesus helping us, barbarians 2,000 years ago, looking at us and killing each other for nothing, and then coming here just to help us? This is, the love and the care that we see in so many great souls that we had in this country. And it's like if we see ourselves as a giant puzzle. Each one of us is a piece of this puzzle. Different colors, different shapes, but what are we alone? A piece of the puzzle. Absolutely nothing. But when we start understanding our role in this world, when we start embracing each other, then we become something. Then we are showing that we understand what it is to call ourselves children of God. Showing that there is no separation among ourselves. And the more we embrace each other, the more we respect the differences we may find each other, we are contributing to have this whole image and this new understanding and growing together and forming a single organism, everyone respecting each other and loving each other. It's not just a beautiful concept for us to talk, it's something that makes us feel good. When you do an act of goodness, an act of charity, don't you feel so happy? I mean, it brings something to your soul that nothing can match. I remember I was still not that old. I went to, I need some stuff for my school, and I was there buying some, pencils, pens, notebooks, and there was this little boy next to me. He wanted to buy a nice pencil, but he lacked like, I don't know, 2 cents, 3 cents. It was not much. Then I gave it to him. I mean, the happiness that little boy showed to me, I never forgot that. It still fills up my soul with this joy of, doing almost nothing, but seeing how much happiness you can bring to someone. And this is all what we need in terms of understanding and in terms of practicing Spiritism. And in the Gospel according to Spiritism, reporting one of the parables of Jesus, there is this beautiful parable talking about the withered fig tree. So let us read, for those who are not familiar with that. When they left Bethany, he was hungry, and seeing a fig tree some way off, he went to see if he could find something on it. And having come to it, he only found leaves. When they left Bethany, he was hungry, and seeing a fig tree somewhere, let's see if, sorry. And so, let me tell you the rest of the story. Sorry, I don't know what happened here. So, he looking at the fig tree, not having the fruits to satiate their hunger, he said, no one else is going to eat any fruit from you. So, the following day, they came back through the same path, and the disciples were amazed because they looked at the fig tree and the fig tree was completely dry. And they thought that Jesus was cursing the tree. But he could see that the tree was actually dead, was about to die, in the process of dying. But he used that, as he always used symbols, to show us our purpose. And in this parable, it shows that persons who have only the appearance of goodness, but in reality producing nothing that is worthless, is the symbol of all persons who have the means to be useful, but are not. So with great knowledge comes great responsibility, and this is a phrase from Voltaire and not the Spider-Man. I don't know if you like movie actions, I love them, and then there is this, in the first Spider-Man, there is this thing that, the uncle comes to Spider-Man and says, with great knowledge comes great responsibility, so it's a Voltaire phrase. It is true in terms of Spiritism as well. Using our reason, using the study, acquiring the knowledge gives us responsibility. Because then we understand why we are here on earth. What is the process of this immortal soul that each one of us represents? And what is our role in relation to changing, to bettering our world? So by having this knowledge and not trying to apply them in our daily lives. And when we say apply, we are not talking about going outside in the streets and screaming to the world, I'm a Spiritist and I'm better than you because I have this knowledge and you don't. No, wrong answer. We are talking about showing through our examples how we can bring happiness and how people should also live their lives. There is this great phrase of Francis of Assisi that is the following: preach the gospel and use words if necessary. So this is what we are talking about here. It's not about preaching and saying, do that, do this, do that. And we don't do this, you don't do that, we don't do anything, but we want others to do it. This is the maturity of the Spirit that we have to reach. This is how we are going to be reaching a stage of involvement and actually convincing people. People will be intrigued. Sometimes they look at us and say, well, you know, this is a regular person, knowledgeable, with a good education, money in the bank, comfortable situation. Why are they just, you know, going in this spiritual things? Or, you know, have a problem in their lives, a very difficult one, and remain balanced. Yeah, it's okay to suffer. Yeah, it's okay to cry. We will suffer. We will cry. But we will understand that that will pass. It's just a phase necessary for us in all this process. So people become intrigued with our behavior. And sooner or later, they will approach us and say, why are you like that? Why are you always smiling? You know, is life so good to you that you're always happy? No, we understand. We have an understanding of what life is. And when it comes about serving, this is a very important statement from Chico Xavier. If I had waited for a more evolved spiritual condition to be of service, I would as yet not have commenced it. Because many people, when you say, go do something, oh, what can I give? In this hour, they are very humble and shy. You know, in other hours, not so much. When it means to give, to be a volunteer, to help in some noble cause, they are always deprived of condition. If it's something else, they have everything and more. So we all have something to give. Like I said, I gave this 2 cents to the boy and I was the superhero of the day, you know. So it doesn't mean much. Many times also what refrains us from doing more is because once you establish that you want to do something for the world, you want to start big. You don't think about start small. And everyone that has done something big and great in the world, they all started small. But we, because our pride, because of our vanity, if I decided that I wanted to be a missionary, I'm gonna start here, not there. And this is what prevents us to become one. Because we do not accept or we do not see the goodness for us in small tasks, in bringing the water, in cleaning the room, in preparing the technical devices that we need to do a presentation, in sending an email, in doing little things that we can do, in talking to someone that we see that is in distress, that we can do in the everyday life that will bring this noble victory to each one of us. And when we talk about love in Spiritism, love and charity come together. We even call charity love in action. So to show that we have true love, that we have an understanding that we are all equal before God, as our Constitution says, we have to understand the need to give to others and to help others. Again, I love Paul of Tarsus. There is this statement from him that is very, very well known, but let's see if we understand it very well. If I speak in the tongues of men or of angels, but do not have love, I'm only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. And then he goes on, and he finishes like this. If I give all I possess to the poor, and give over my body to hardship that I may boast, but do not have love and charity, I gain nothing. What is he saying here? Isn't that the very definition of charity, of love, giving all you possess to the poor and even your body? But he's saying, if you do that empty, you're not doing anything, actually. It's like when, we do things just to show the world that we can be charitable, but in fact, that love, that charity that is going to be the way of your salvation is not yet in your soul. So we have to meditate about that. About, like I said, it can be little things, but little things with love. So there is even a phrase, I think, from Mother Teresa of Calcutta that she says, I don't know, I don't remember if the phrase is from her, I have to check. But you have to do little things with great love. Normally we do the opposite. We try to do great things without any love, and this is what he says is empty. We are wasting a precious opportunity of doing something more. And talking about Mother Teresa of Calcutta, there is one example in her life, that it has always touched me a lot, and it has everything to do with what the topic that we are talking about here. Some of you may already know about that story. It is said that once she was in her little office in Calcutta, and there was always lots of journalists that would like to go to her and to talk to her and to try to understand the work that she did, and to understand what led her to this kind of work, and and being so famous as she became. And she was there talking to the journalist, and then all of a sudden she said, "I'm sorry, I have to leave," and gathered herself and went away in the streets of Calcutta. And the journalist was amazed. What does she mean? She has to leave, and just left. And so he decided to follow her. Then we see what kind of mediumship she already had, right? She started walking in those streets, turning here and there, and the journalist just following her up to the point that she reached a place that was filled with garbage. And she went to the garbage, started moving away the garbage, and there she found a man in the garbage. And the man, of course, was in a very, very poor condition, most like a leper condition or something. The way the journalist described it was the most horrific thing he has seen in his life. She grabs the man, she places him in her lap and starts caressing him. And after a few moments she was doing that, he died in her hands, on her lap. And then the journalist was looking at all of that without making any sense of that, without understanding how she could be able to just know the man was there, and most of all, how she had the courage of picking him up in that state, horrible state, and being that loving person towards him. And then he says to her, "I wouldn't be doing that even if someone offered me $1 million." And then she said, "Neither would I. I just do that for love." We don't understand this. It is still not in us, but it's something that we are trying to conquer. At least we are already capable of appreciating such noble actions that we are still not capable of doing. And remember, we start doing little things, these baby steps. If we are not capable yet of doing great things like Mother Teresa did, we can do little things. And we should not discard this opportunity. And sooner than we expect, maybe one day we will be doing this great thing that we would never think we were capable of doing. But just with love, just with understanding, just understanding the pains and the needs of our brothers and sisters, of others that we call human beings. And there is one passage in the book Jesus in the Home that is called Mutual Help. that also complements this understanding and this knowledge that we have. And it talks about this. Two old friends were walking through the desert region of a mountainous area. Both were feeling ill and were trying to protect themselves as best as they could from the blasts of freezing air when they happened upon a half-dead child lying in the road at the mercy of the high winds of winter. So they were there. They were very far away still from the nearest town where they could find shelter, and struggling for their lives, when suddenly they saw this child. One of them said, "We cannot go away and continue without helping this child." The other one said, "Look, the child is half dead already. If we pick up this child, the three of us are going to die because we cannot survive this weather. We are still like 3-4 hours away from the nearest shelter, and we all gonna die. And this child is going to delay our journey, and we are not going to survive." "Then I'm sorry, but I'm leaving, I'm going," one of them said. The other one, not being capable of withstanding the idea of leaving a child behind, decided to grab the child and to do the journey himself, carrying the child. Of course, it took him longer, but finally, after a little more hours than it was first imagined that it would take, he arrived at the shelter. Upon arriving there, exhausted, with his basically without any strength, but he asked for his friend. "Is my friend here already? He was supposed to be here at least 2 hours before I arrived." And then the man said, "No, no one arrived tonight. You are the only one that is arriving, you and the child." And he said, "It's not possible. He left before I did. He was alone. He didn't have to carry a child like I was carrying a child. And he has to be here." He said, "No one is here. Maybe he went to a different place, but here he is not." So they went to rest. The following morning, again, the friend came and asked for the other friend, and they said there was nothing here. No one in the city knew about the friend, so they decided to go for a search, asked the authorities in the city to go and to look for the friend. So they took the way that it should be the way that the friend was taking. And then finally, in a certain part of the road, they found the friend dead. This other friend was absolutely surprised. How can he be dead? He had the opportunity of walking much, much faster. He could be here, and I was carrying the child. And then one of the people responsible for the rescue team explained to him, "But this is the very reason why you're not dead. Because with the freezing night, when you were carrying the child, you were doing so much extra work, and your body was exhaling more heat. And your heat, the heat of your body, was able to reach the child, to warm the child as well, at the same time that the child in your lap was preventing you to receive all the blast from the winter blast. And the child was also safe because it was receiving the heat from your body. This is exactly what has saved you." This is such a powerful story because it tells us and it shows us that when we think that we are doing good to others and saving others, we are actually saving ourselves. This is the beauty of charity, of giving to others, of understanding how much we are connected and how much it is in our own interest to be doing charitable acts like this. And so this is how Jesus concludes the stories by saying, "People's most eloquent and exact testimonies before the Almighty Father are their own deeds. The very ones whom we will help are our support. The heart we save will become a resource for us one day or another. Let no one doubt this. Those who live for themselves are merely a living ornament of loneliness. But those who work on behalf of others are creditors of everyone's help. By helping, we will in turn be helped. By giving, we will in turn receiving. This is the divine law. So this shows us and complements our reasoning, the process of becoming a Spiritist, of being a Spiritist. Reason in the first place. Never accepting things just because people are telling you this is the right thing to do or this is the right thing that exists in the world. You are always going to test that. Kardec himself said, if science comes and proves that one point that we present is wrong, follow science. Do not follow this point that we have presented. Understand that we have limitations. And the more we grow, spiritually speaking, the more this world that is still unknown to us will reach us. So there will become a point that we will expand more in understanding, even to the point of reaching things that Spiritism has not yet presented to us. We have limited knowledge, limited understanding. They cannot bring science from 200 years from now and expect that we are going to understand. I remember, 20-something years from now, back, we didn't have all, computers, internet, all this new language, new vocabulary that we have developed. I will email you. Say that 25 years ago, nobody would know what you're talking about. Send me a text. Okay, Google me. Google me? What? Right? 25 years ago, even less than 25 years, but let's say 25 years ago. So can you imagine that we are capable of understanding what is 200 years ahead of us? So of course this is going to expand more. And then that's why we have to always keep an open mind, but always, always be using our reason and not just accepting things because people are telling you that you have to do that. How can we do that? Studying, learning, getting the knowledge of it. Also, not to have preconceived ideas and say, no, this is not good. Why is not good? I don't know, people told me that it's not good. Remember when we first started having, I'm from that time already, the microwave? Oh my God, that was devil on earth, right? People were so afraid to use the microwave. This is gonna kill you. I still know people today that they refuse to use the microwave. Okay, they may not be the best thing for our health, but the preconceived idea saying this is not good, the rays are gonna kill you and this and that, So think about other things similar to that we know. Even the washing machine, come on, it will prevent you from exercising, and this is going to destroy your clothes. And don't do that. Don't use that. I want it to be washed by hand, Can you imagine that? This is lack of knowledge. This is preconceived ideas, us thinking that is not good, because I heard people saying that's not good. There is no scientist that proved that. So study, understanding, knowledge when addressing each and every topic here we're talking about Spiritism, but in every sense. And of course, when you use reason, when you use knowledge, now this has to make an impact in you. This is going now to determine how are you going to behave. If I learn that if I do that, it's going to be good for me, what should I do? Do that, right? It's not just because I have the knowledge that is going to be good that is going to bring me good. And this is when the part of love, charity, exercising for us, because we start loving ourselves, we start doing charity for ourselves, and then to others as well, when we are going to be seeing this, all of that. So the good Spiritist will feed the mind and will feed the heart, and we'll learn how to love and understand enemies, do good to those that hate us, and pray for those who persecute us. And Kardec says in the Gospel according to Spiritism, true Spiritists are recognized by their moral transformation and the efforts they make to overcome their evil inclinations. So explaining and showing to us that the spirits are not expecting us to become pure spirits in just one lifetime. It's not going to happen. It is a process like everything else in life. We start now, we start small, but we see ourselves advancing. The way that I can look at myself today and say, you know what, I'm better today than I was yesterday. This is our goal, and to be better tomorrow than I was today. This is what, when we understand the Spiritism, is the art of being a Spiritist. We start using and practicing and putting in our daily lives. I hope you have enjoyed our presentation. I thank you so much for this opportunity, and I'm now open for questions.
Few minutes, like Jussara said, she's going to open for questions, and please take just time, doesn't have to be just today's topic. I'm sure she'll be more than delighted to answer any other doubts you have. As she drinks her water, I would like to tell you a little story. Since a child, I always liked stories, because that's how I was learning Spiritism. But my father always said what Jussara said, we need to learn, we need to study, and to put in practice what we study. When she shows Chico Xavier today, in one of her pictures, brought me in my memory a little story, and I'm going to share it with you. One day Chico was going to work, and he was a little bit late to work, and he was rushing to work. A lady called him, Chico, I need to talk to you. And Chico said, not now, I have to be in a place, I'm already late. And he kept going. But his mentor told him, Chico, stop it. Yeah.
And like this.
Yeah. Chico, stop. I'm going to take you just 2 minutes. You can run later to work. But stop and go see what the lady needed. And he stopped, went back, and very kindly listened to her, and then he said, later on we can talk more, and because he didn't have that long time at that moment, but he made the effort to stop, gave the 2 minutes to the lady, and then he left. And his left, his mentor go back and say, now look back. Then he looked back, and what did he saw? Beautiful things irradiated from her, because she was saying, thank you, Chico. So she was so full of love inside that he made her try to stop it. And then he said to him, what about if you didn't have to stop? What could be coming out of her mouth going to affect you? I love this story. And I know we always rush in life. We do. I speak for myself. I'm always in a rush and running things. 2 days ago, I was in a rush. My husband and I had to be in a place. A young man stopped me right in front of the building here and asked me, it is here the Spirit Society of North Beach? I went to the young man and I said, yes, unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to talk to you. I explained to the young man, I have to be in a place. Then I stopped. I said, but wait a minute. Let me give you the business card. And I talked to him for 2 minutes. I stopped and I made myself to stop. I said, Ariel, the message, and I made the young man to understand it. the place where I go gonna close, and we had that much. We have an hour driving to get to the place. And I invited him, please come, we're gonna have a speaker and look our website, and I would love to talk to you later on. What about if I had say, I'm sorry, I'm in a rush getting in my car. I didn't have the pleasure to have you here today. And I thank my father for telling the little stories. And I thank for Chico. And I thank you to have the opportunity to apply what I learned. And I hope you'll come back. And I know we have a lot to talk, and we're going to be just in a day, you're going to learn about what you're saying. And maybe perhaps, I said the story, but maybe perhaps you can ask more questions.
Okay.
Thank you again for giving me that opportunity to change myself. The next year now. You're welcome to our center.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
How
If you can speak a little louder, please.
to be a spiritist in a material world? How to reconcile what we learn in spiritism with the demands of our daily tasks, our jobs, and everything?
This is an easy one because Gandhi already answered this question. He said, be the change you want to see in the world. So this is it. You know, many times we are just thinking about what we would like to see in the world, a more spiritual, more this and that, you know, according to what we have the knowledge, but we ourselves are not doing our job. So I think mostly, you know, is how we and our energy expands to the world, and the examples, like we said before, that is going to make an impact. Because little by little, the same process that we are now going, seeking more understanding, more spirituality, everyone will go through that. Everyone will go sooner or later. We here believe in reincarnation, so it can be 4 or 5 times from now, but you're definitely going to go through that. Hopefully it's going to be in this lifetime. You're going to not be wasting that much time, but we have to do our part. We have